Hello there, this is Monique. So today has been a good day, fairly good day, and those are rare for me in the last few months or years. So I tend to appreciate them a bit more. In appreciation of that good day, I said, let me give you a sneak peek on what made it so good. Um, Today was the last day. How do I put this? Today was the last day of my Participatory Action Research course, which I have been doing for the last 12 weeks with students at the University of Yaoundé 1, ranging from undergraduate students to doctoral students. A class of 15 from the Faculty of Arts and Humanities. Let me tell you what's so special about it. As I've rounded up today's session, it reminded me of how it looks like it was easy at the end. Like the students feel like you had it all together, like you knew everything how it was just supposed to be. And it seemed that way without like the backstory. Today as we ended, I look back and I appreciate what brought me here. What made me fall in love with Participatory Action Research in the first place, how I even got to research. And how they're all interconnected in a way that you cannot say God was not involved, and I cannot say like I got you on my own. No. I never studied African feminisms in undergrad. I did not. I fell in love with African feminisms by researching it on my own when I was doing my master's on a Chevening scholarship. I realized I don't know what triggered it, but perhaps it's like they say, once you're in the country, you don't really appreciate yourself being African. You become African when you leave the country. And I became African when I left the country. And you are trying to own that African identity. So it's actually out of the country that I started researching African feminisms, which was not taught in detail to us, even as gender studies students studying at the University of Boya. I would return later on and teach it, which brought me to my calling for the PhD. Because of where I did my master's and because of the influence of my supervisor for my master's, Rosie, I will be encouraged to go to the Center for Higher Education and Human Development in South Africa because I was very interested in the capabilities approach. There, I will be interested. Now, UCL major fall in love with African feminisms and the capability approach. And they would recommend me to UFS. And UFS, you will meet people doing participation action research, which you have never done before. You will hear about photo voice projects. I wasn't even like doing it myself, but because so many of us at the center were doing it, you've learned about it and you fell in love with it as well. I eventually used one of the participation analysis as my doctoral research method. And it's from there that that experience will benefit me, be able to get me my current job. And current job is where I find myself doing another form of participatory action research, which is not what I did in my doctorate, nor is it what I had even seen before. I'm looking back at how all of these just interconnects and they feed into each other, and how exposure to one thing means exposure to another thing, means exposure to another thing, how experiences build upon each other, and people tend to see the finished product. They don't see how you edited this part of your story because you saw an example elsewhere that people don't know about, or you watched a movie, or you read somebody else's story, and that's how all of that contributes to making yours. And let me tell you a bit about my research. My current study is looking at the University of, um, first of all, wider. The AfriUni project is looking at higher education in Francophone African countries. Universities are sites of knowledge production. They're sites of becoming. It's where we, it's where we grew up. Basically, you left your father's house. It's where you became an adult. It's your coming of age. It's a site of coming of age for many of us. But it's also a site of coming of age for African countries and African societies, because that's where their elite come from. That's where they're supposed to be unlearning colonial perspectives. That's where they're supposed to be creating their own knowledge and becoming. And that's where their people, their leaders, are supposed to be becoming. So it's a very powerful site for who we are and what our culture is deemed to be. Because the books that you read will be coming out of people that studied in this university or that university. The textbooks that guide your children, the policy makers, your elite, they're all from there. So what the university is, the quality of the education there, the university experience often feeds into, or often tells the story of that society's culture, that society's becoming. And what part of it is international, influenced by France or whatever, and what part of it is actually organic, and how things are unique. So we're looking at this across 4 African countries. I'm in charge of the Cameroonian case. Being in charge of the Cameroonian case meant that I had, fortunately, because we're trying to really do decolonized research. Being in charge of the Cameroonian case means I had the authority to decide how the research is implemented here, how it is conceptualized here. Like there are the wider research projects, obviously, but I also had to decide for myself, okay, which kind of interviews, which kind of parts, how will I use the participatory approach here, what kind of analysis, so on and so forth. I knew I wanted to do participatory action research, obviously, but given my previous experience, my doctorate, but I did not know how. I thought I was going to just do photo voice. But again, another experience that made me edit is when somebody told me, but so many people are doing that. I think they're just being lazy. You could be a lot more creative. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I can be a lot more creative. Let me see how to make this more difficult for myself. So that was Prof. Sue Timmons that gave me that idea. And that's how I came up with the idea of doing a participatory action research course, being teacher that I am. It felt like an easy way to also get the students involved, because they were going to be co-constructing the course with me. These students, and that's the whole point of why today's a good day, because they exceeded my expectations and they made me feel so good. Okay. These students, 15 of them, got from different programs: sociology, linguistics, anthropology, history, geography, I think, yeah, French, bilingual letters, and so on and so forth. 15 of them came together. I explained to them, I taught on the first day, gave an introduction to what participatory action research is. We shared the tools. We did classroom games. We co-developed a curriculum for 12 weeks of how we're going to co-research the university together. And in every sense of the word, they were my co-researchers. In that, I mean, I was thinking of, I was actually wary, like, usually my doctoral research was with master's students. I was thinking, well, undergraduates, oh, they shocked me. They really shocked me in how active they were. As part of participatory action research, we share everything. That's one of the principles of it. We are sharing the tools of the research. That means the knowledge that you have as a researcher of theory, of and the decision-making power you have over the methodology. and the tools you have and resources you have should be shared as well. So in this case, that meant for me buying tablets for the students, because you don't assume that all these students will have the resources that you do. You have a laptop and everything. We cannot afford to buy laptops for each and every one of them. So we're buying a tablet for each and every one of them, that they will be able to use this tablet to record themselves, to collect data, so on and so forth. So we got that done. Okay, we got the tablets for them, made sure that they had funds to attend every class for 12 weeks, and made sure that they also had funds for data over the course of the semester. And let me tell you, they came, they showed up, they were active. Every week they co-constructed a magnificent syllabus. They came up with the ideas of, we should study this week, we should study that this week. This needs to be investigated. This aspect of the university needs to be evaluated. And basically what I did was just say, okay, this might be how we can evaluate this, but it's coming from them. You're just giving them you're just helping them develop it or fine tune it. And it was such an eye opener how much they could do when you let them do. And it was such an affirmative experience of the power of participatory action research, because they felt like, I didn't have to force anybody to come to class. They were literally writing me, "Doc, I'll be late, but I'll be there." I didn't have to force anyone. And they were so engaged. Like, with their assignments, everybody showed up, somebody was even writing, "Can you check and see that I've submitted everything?" Now, I've taught before, but no, I know that doesn't work. I know it doesn't happen like that in my classrooms. So I know this was kind of like, okay, it's because of the research. And in part of the syllabus, considering that it's the course, we have lessons. So every week was a different thematic, a different theme, or area of research evaluation of the university. The quality of education, life at the university, social cohesion, so on and so forth. They had exercises such as read my teacher. They had exercises such as tell me you're from Guakele without telling me you're from Guakele, and so on and so forth. But we were supposed to, at the end, we would have to have an exam or your term paper, which is a creative work that you have developed that captures the essence of what you have learned, or how you see your university, something that we can exhibit when we're doing a public exhibition later on this year and in 2025. Let me tell you, today was the day of presenting the term papers. Today was the last day of the course, and they all came, showed up. Shocked. We had a photographer, and I remember Glenn was just telling me that he was surprised that everybody came, because he thought that he was there on the first day and on the last day, and then on a third day with the Afini when the collaborators came. But he was there for this course on the first and the last day. On the first day, he was there when we were giving the tablets. So his assistant was like, this student will disappear after collecting these things. Nobody disappeared. To tell you that there is hope for Cameroonians, people. Have a little faith in your people. They will pull through. Some of them are still good, okay? Everybody showed up. And they have produced short films. They have done work. They have produced art. Oh my God. This is one. One of them produced this novella and printed it and everything. And let me tell you, I don't want to cry. So that's just one. There's artwork, proper artwork that I'm so glad to exhibit. The students have produced a map The University of Yaoundé one does not have a map on its own. Students have produced the map and will be donating, enlarging that map and donating it to the university. Students have written stories in Camfranglais to show the diversity, the fluidity of the language so much. And at the end of it, they've given their feedback, but at the end of it, we just want to, I just came back full. I came back full, seeing that they had ideas to do more, they were inspired to do more, that they had made friendships while there, that they were so close. People that didn't know each other on the first day had become so close over the course of 12 weeks. They have become bolder. They have become more, how can I put it, outspoken, and are encouraged to do more. And it just reminded me of the power of teaching and why we do research. Whenever I tell people, especially my family, my relatives, that I'm a researcher, they don't really get it. They're like, aren't you finished with the PhD already? Which research are you doing again? So the idea is that research is something that you do in school. So saying that you're a researcher professionally, they're like, what are you researching? And it's funny to tell people that you're creating problems to answer. Because that's what we're doing. But we're identifying problems. We're not creating them. We're identifying problems and then we are trying to address them. And today, it's kind of looked down on. Like, this just means the profession for overthinkers. They are right. They are right. It is a profession for overthinkers. But it is also that profession which fosters curiosity, it fosters thinking out of the box, and it fosters the critical thinking that we so direly need. We had people questioning policies, young students questioning policies, questioning the fact that they don't know the rector's name, questioning the fact that their teachers are not accessible, questioning the fact that their school doesn't have restrooms, openly questioning, openly writing about it, daring to speak up. And that right there is the power of research, because the research is the one that dares to ask the questions. We do not just take things as they are. We find a problem with it and then start to find out, well, how can we look at this problem? How can we solve this problem? Social sciences. Or what does this problem tell us about ourselves? Humanities. Anyway, that is a roundup. That's today. And I guess this is a mini vlog at this point because but let me know what you think, and if you're doing research or if you're interested in research, what you think about participatory action research. There you go. Bye.